Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another joint Education and Culture and Health and Human Services Committee meeting. We are delighted today to have an opportunity to talk about a number of things that are incredibly important to us, especially because of what we see that's happening in our community. Oftentimes, our nonprofits and those in our community who are working hand in hand with our county government are doing everything they can to combat some of the unfortunate circumstances that we see that come out of our global pandemic, as well as a lot of the issues that surround so many of our residents, whether it's newcomers coming into our country, and we talked about that in a joint meeting, whether it's our education system and our children and mental health, whether it's dealing with opportunities for folks because they feel isolated to be able to be active and involved and engaged in our community. There's so many things that our grants, our county grants process supports. And so it really is good to be able to have this conversation around how we can support those in our community who are supporting our community. And so with that, let me turn it over to my co-chair, Chair Albornoz, for any opening comments. I would ask colleagues, if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please, by all means, just text me, as I'll be running the first part of the grants meeting. So Chair, President Albornoz.
Thank you, Chairman Rice. As I've noted before publicly, I started my career in our nonprofit sector, and I can speak in the first person about the incredibly important role they play in our community and the partnership with county government to be able to extend our services and leverage them more effectively. We've never needed to lean in more in our nonprofit sector than we have these last 2 years. And so I really appreciate the efforts, and I really want to once again acknowledge Councilmember Navarro's hard work in helping to ensure that we set a course in establishing a grants office, and which will put us in a much better position as a county moving forward. And I also want to acknowledge you, Chairman Rice, for your continued commitment in this space as well, especially as we support our children, youth, and families. And I do want to thank Councilmember Glass as the other member of the HHS committee, and of course our good friend Councilmember Jawando, who has been steadfast in his support for our community-based organizations and nonprofit sectors as well. So great packet as always. Look forward to the conversation and appreciate the partnership between the executive and legislative branches to get us where we are now. A lot of progress has been made, as we will see this morning. And just on a personal note, I will have to go off camera at 10:30 this morning, traveling to the funeral for the officer who passed away tragically last week. But I will be facilitating the second part of our session this morning, which should go pretty quickly on the HHS CIP a little bit later this morning. So with that, I yield to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And as always, you've teed it up perfectly. So I am going to turn to Ms. Carolyn Chen, who is our legislative analyst working with grants, and always want to thank her for a great packet, as well as the continued collaboration with many of our grants recipients. You have been a tremendous help, especially during the pandemic, in providing resources as well as information to them about the things that are incredibly important. So just want to thank you for that. I know that many in our community are appreciative of the partnership and support that you've given to them. So I'll turn it over to you to walk us through the community grants and cost sharing capital grants processes that were recommended by our Office of Management and Budget. I did want to acknowledge that we have with us today Mary Beck, as well as Josh Waters and Rafael Pumarejo Murphy from OMB, all here to be able to answer questions and help to guide us through the process. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Mr. Rice, and good morning, everybody. Correction, Mr. Waters will not be in attendance today. Another correction in the packet, I incorrectly noted his title. His title is actually Acting Deputy Director, so I want to make that correction. And Rafael Murphy is here from OMB to discuss the grants process with us. This work session is a discussion and update on where we are, starting with the December 2021 OMB memo recommending the community grants process for fiscal year 23, as well as opening up a fiscal year 23 cost sharing capital grants process, and an update on the launch of the upcoming Office of Grants Management on July 1st, 2022. The memo outlines the recommendations made by the county executive, as well as outlines just topics of discussion for this joint committee, just to prepare for the operating budget that comes over in March. With that, I don't think there's anything else I need to give context. Mr. Murphy, anything that you'd like to add?
Nope. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Colleagues, questions about the process itself as we go through. I know that part of the discussion had been about the grants management director. I'll just share with folks that when it came to our discussion and our being myself and the county executive during one of our updates, I made sure that it was clear to the county executive that we needed to do more to help support our community grants organizations, understanding that they were asked to do more during the course of the pandemic. And so my hope is that we'll see as a part of our operating budget additional funds come up to discuss to help to support a lot of the work that our nonprofits have been doing. But really just want to say thank you to the executive branch for understanding and hearing about the great work that's happening, and certainly want to make sure that that's moving forward. But I did certainly want to ask about the Office of Grants Management Director position, Mr. Murphy, and where that's going and how that process is working and how we think that that's going to play out for us.
Thank you. So the Office of Grants Management Director position, we've transmitted a supplemental appropriation request for Q4 to provide funding for this position. Since the Office of Grants Management doesn't technically legally exist until the start of fiscal year 23, this position would be housed in CEX, the County Executive Office, temporarily. As soon as the office goes into existence on July 1st, 2022, this position would transfer automatically over into the new Office of Grants Management. So the idea behind doing this the supplemental appropriation for Q4 is to give this some inertia to this office. So get the director hired, get them working, start laying the groundwork for the Office of Grants Management for a few months ahead of time, so that when the office goes into existence, there's more inertia behind their efforts, there's a bit more planning, and they can get moving on a lot of the initiatives that we all want them to be doing. So that's the thought process there. In terms of why Q4, we felt it was not going to be very realistic or feasible to onboard this position during the county executive's budget process, which is transmitted March 15th. So the Q4 seemed most likely. And in terms of why we're asking for a supplemental appropriation from the reserves is, well, one, because this is a new position and a new role, for us to use existing funding or existing position and convert that would really kind of go around council's appropriating authority to create new positions. So we did not want to go above you with that. And then also with the office that they will be temporarily housed in with CEX, after the Q2 analysis and looking at that they don't look like they're going to have lapsed funds that would be available for this new position and role.
So in the meantime, just help me to understand, Mr. Murphy, how that process is taking place in terms of right now. Obviously, without having that director there, is that still just run through the Office of OMB and you guys analyze and determine from the grants perspectives, especially when it comes to enhancement of funds, whatever the case may be, some administrative cost adjustments, all those kinds of things? Does that just run through the office as the normal process that's been going on before until this new onboarding is done?
Yes. So I'm the OMB analyst covering community grants and the community cost sharing capital grants. So it's very similar to previous years, if not exactly the same as how this was handled during FY22 in the FY22 budget process. So I'm the point of contact on community grants for the county executive and on cost sharing capital grants. I've been coordinating the cost sharing capital grants process and managing the application portal for nonprofits to submit their cost sharing capital grants application. For community grants, we have taken as outlined in Director Brian's letter, we are taking a same approach as FY22, where we're keeping funds stable, and we're attempting to keep funds stable from FY22 to FY23. And instead of asking nonprofits to go through an application process who received funding previously, we are just doing the internal review of these grants and their performance. So since most of these grants have been funded for 4 consecutive fiscal years, we know these organizations well, we know their programs well. It's given the pressures that nonprofits are under, it just seems too much to ask them to submit an application when we already know exactly how these programs are doing, since we've been working with them for so long. As part of that review process, we're also looking at which grants should shift from the community grants NDA into the base budget. So we're working with departments for them to develop their recommendations. I'm collating that information and feeding that up to the county executive. So all of these internal processes again are exactly what we did in FY22, and so it's functioning that way. But we expect, again, once this office is stood up, Office of Grants Management, those functions will transfer to them, and they'll take leadership of community grants, cost sharing capital grants, and whatever other types of grant programs are initiated through the county.
Well, let me first just say thank you, Mr. Murphy, for recognizing the challenging times that many of our nonprofits find themselves in and trying to streamline the process. We really do appreciate that. That certainly signals an understanding of what many of our nonprofits are going through. And this is my last question. I know Councilmember Navarro is waiting to speak, but did just want to ask, when it comes to you hearing and interacting from many of our nonprofits, who I know are similar to many other businesses throughout, the cost of business has just gone up significantly. Whether it's via staffing, whether it's for PPE, whether it's new protocols that are in place, and just the general overall cost of doing business, whether it's supplies or whatever, costs have gone up. Have you heard that from folks, and is that a part of your consideration when it comes to the impending budget regarding grants?
Yes, that's going to be part of the budget process this year, is looking at the inflation. And nonprofit Montgomery submitted a letter to the county executive and I believe to the county council as well, requesting a 10% increase across the board for nonprofit contracts. And so that is being taken under consideration, and as well as just general inflationary costs for nonprofits is taken under consideration. So these organizations have had their funding level through the community grants frozen for at least 3 fiscal years, perhaps longer. I don't have that data handy right now. So yeah, that is being considered as the county executive goes through his budget process.
You muted yourself, Chairman Rice.
Sorry, I'm going to turn to Councilmember Navarro, who's the chair of our Government Operations and Fiscal Policy Committee, followed by Council President Albornoz.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And also thank you so much to Ms. Chen and those in the administration who have been steadily working on this issue, which was not an easy thing to do, given that, once we establish a system, it's very difficult to then upend that system, but it was so necessary. And I think really, really important. Once again, who knew how critical all of these system changes were going to be, pre-2020. So as always, we tend to be ahead of a lot of issues. So I just want to express my appreciation to Ms. Chen for leading the charge here. One issue I was wondering about, I know that, of course, when we got hit with the pandemic, the council pretty much agreed to adopt a same services budget approach. And I know that in some ways, this is kind of like what we mirrored with our grants programs. And now that we have understood and realized, of course, that many of the things that we put in place, many of those things are going to have to be permanent. And also there are many other programs that we know are going to be critical that we should be considering. And so I'm wondering if Mr. Umarejo Murphy or Ms. Chen can elaborate a little bit on what are we planning to do this time around vis-a-vis the new organizations or new programs that are also critical as we continue to address the ravages of the pandemic, because if we adopt another position of not adding any new programs or funding any new organizations, I worry that we are going to be missing out on some really important supports, given that, again, even though the pandemic has shifted a little bit, we still need those organizations and perhaps some new programs that build upon some of the existing things that we have done. So how are we going to address that this particular budget cycle?
So I can speak to the county executives process, and Director Bryant referenced this in her memo coming over. So in terms of freezing these, the community grant levels for FY, or considering freezing them for FY23, part of also what Director Bryant mentions is we are looking at, as part of the budget process, new and innovative ways to conduct grants, to do different types of initiatives, to do different types of capacity building. So those types of considerations are taking place. One thing is we did not want to, given this office is going to be staffed up and they are going to have be leading the strategic direction on all this, it didn't seem prudent to kind of get ahead of them. And rather than develop something now through the normal process with OMB and others, it seemed more prudent to get this office staffed up and then maybe provide them some resources once fiscal year 23 starts so that they can lead a new strategic direction and they have some resources to get that done and maybe do some new work there. So those types of discussions are ongoing, what types of new programs and initiatives we could be supporting, but looking at that through the lens of through the Office of Grants Management, as opposed to, just doing it through the same type of historic community grants process, which, the council has wanted to reform and change.
Add on to Mr. Murphy's comment about expanding administrative capacity. This is not just for expanding the administrative capacity of nonprofits so that we can provide more quality services at increasing cost, but in this recommended budget cycle, for the first time, we'll be able to review a new Office of Grants Management office budget and discuss the strategic vision of this office prior to being launched. I think that's very important to note that this time to kind of incubate the county capacity and increase the capacity to be able to strategically launch initiatives in fiscal year 23.
Okay, so I guess I just want to make sure that we are mindful of sort of like, I feel like there are like two tracks here. Like one is establishing the office, making sure that the capacity is there, making sure that everything is going to work, et cetera, while we respond to, in real time, to the complexity of the needs that are out there in the community that we know nonprofit organizations have quickly shifted. They've been so nimble in adapting, but that might require, that we also consider how to provide that capacity because they can't do it just through volunteers. And so I just hope, especially with, Mr. President, that as the minute we receive the budget, that we quickly try to figure out a system to evaluate that. Because again, we don't want to miss out any opportunities that will cost us even more later on when we fail to address capacity issues of some of these partners because of this particular philosophy. So, well, thank you so much again. I know it's definitely not easy to be doing all these things all at once in the middle of a crisis, and I'm just always so impressed and grateful to the professionalism that all of you continue to exhibit. Thank you.
Yeah, and Chair Navarro, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that, again, there's been a marked, and this is by no means to insult where we were before, but there's been a marked collaboration that is so much better between the executive side and our council staff and our council offices, certainly when it comes to addressing a lot of these issues. And so we really appreciate that and think that that's incredibly important as to how we move forward and trying to brainstorm ways in which we can achieve the same goal. Which is what Councilmember Navarro said, continue to support those organizations that are doing great work, but those that are stepping up in our community that are brand new, making sure that we're not forgetting about them, because they are now serving our community well into the future, as these new issues that have cropped up are ones that are going to be with us for quite some time. So thank you for highlighting that, Chair Navarro. President Albornoz.
Thanks. I way associate myself with the comments of Councilmember Navarro. Couldn't agree more, and agree that we have some immediate needs now. And while I completely respect that we are still building this process and we want to give the professionals whom we're going to hire a long enough runway to be able to make decisions as soon as possible, we know there's immediate need now. And I'm very much preaching to the choir. But what I would suggest to the executive branch, there are several crisis points. Mental health comes immediately to mind. Councilmember Navarro recently circulated a memo, which the entire council supports, in enhancing our health and wellness program, our school wellness programs. And I know Councilmember Jawando had been working on this, and others as well. We need to advance these things as quickly as possible. So I would just humbly request that as the executive branch makes final decisions on their budget recommendations coming over to the council, that you take those emerging issues into account. And whether it's funding, as Councilmember Navarro suggested, new organizations who have entered into this space, or expanded programming, I think that will be very well received by this council. And I will not go out on a limb, I'm sure, in supporting the 10% across the board in administrative support, which I'm sure my colleagues, this council has been consistent in providing recommendations of support for enhanced administrative costs for our nonprofit organizations, taking into account what Chair Rice said in his opening comments about the cost of doing business has increased across the board, and the cost of recruitment and retention and just maintaining staff, because we're hemorrhaging really good people. And we need to give our nonprofits, just as we do our government, more flexibility and hanging on to them. So I look forward to the recommendations of the executive, and I know we will work closely to make enhancements. And just, to our nonprofit providers, who I'm sure many of which are tuning in right now, the executive branch continues to stand with you, and we certainly do as well. And so we look forward to these deliberations and discussions. And I'll end on two positive notes. Hopefully that whole thing was positive, but I want to continue to thank you, Mr. Pumarejo Murphy and Ms. Chen. The feedback continues to be very positive from our nonprofit sector, and the transparency in which you all have communicated with them throughout this entire process, answered questions, and alleviated concerns. So that is all really good news. And then the final note is that once this position is on board, I think we will be in a better position to not miss out on the opportunity for federal resources, foundation grants that are starting to mount in a good way, but that we're not in the best position to fully be able to address. So very much appreciate the comments of my colleagues, associate myself with all of them, and look forward to the ongoing discussion. With that, I yield to you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you very much. And as always, we continue to tee each other up. It's just perfect. Because as you talk, President Albornoz, about the innovative things that we're doing, I know our lead for homelessness is all too familiar about what's happening in our space with our nonprofits dealing with homelessness and their quest to get people back to work, get people employed. And I know he's working on something. I know because he's working with our office on it and doing some great things there. So let me turn it over to Vice President Glass.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Appreciate the conversation, and know this process hasn't been an easy one. When it was started, 3 years ago under then President Navarro's leadership, who would have thought that the need would have increased exponentially, and that our focus would have been so intently on public health and innovation and community organizations. And these are all things that our nonprofits and community-based organizations, they need our support. And that's why this conversation is so incredibly important. Appreciate all the comments, associate myself with all the comments. The one question I do have is, over the last week or two, I've been receiving a lot of texts from friends in the nonprofit sector who are anxious and a little confused. And I've shared with them that this is a new process, or we are, year 2 or 3 into this process, and we're still refining it. But can you share with us the public engagement? And I think there was a webinar or conversation last week, I think Ms. Chen, that you had, again, through texts I'm getting. And so just share with us how we are communicating this process to all of our nonprofit partners.
So in December, I participated in the Nonprofit Montgomery Forum. And so I outlined what Director Bryant outlined in her memo of how we were going to pursue the FY23 community grants. And we would be having the process of FY22 will be repeated. We'd be having an internal review of existing programs and existing funding levels. The county executive would attempt to maintain funding levels across years, but we would be looking at for organizations that are not performing, or of course, giving them flexibility for COVID. We understand that some organizations and programs can't function the same way and hit the targets that they could have before COVID. But if they're, organizations that are not compliant, not following their legal regulations, those organizations would be under pressure to maybe lose their funding. But in general, if the goal of our process is to try and maintain funding levels as much as possible. So I participated in that forum. I've participated in a few other community forums outlining the community grants process and what was going forward. I outlined the Office of Grants Management within those presentations as well, looking forward of what this office would do, what roles it would be taking on, in the very general terms, because again, I don't want to get ahead of the county executive and ahead of the county council, but in terms of what the legislation that was passed and what will be going on, and that, a lot of reforms are coming. I've also been outlining through the review process that happened a few years ago, right before the pandemic, of the different 6 action items that were recommended by the nonprofit community, how we've been able to meet at least 5 of those, with the 6th one being the Office of Grants Management. So that's been messaging out to community that way. It's been fielding a lot of calls. So specifically last week was the information session on the cost sharing capital grants. And so I was getting a lot of the same questions on the cost sharing capital grants, and with the application being open for nonprofits to apply. So just opened up a forum to go through, talk about the program, what's eligible, what's not, go through some of the frequently asked questions. And then I walked through the application portal to show them how it worked, how you could actually submit an application. And so throughout this week, I've been answering more questions and helping nonprofits figure out if they're eligible for a capital grant, and then also helping them apply, even just troubleshooting IT issues on the website so they can get their applications in. So the deadline is going to be this Monday, or this coming Monday, for them to submit their applications, and then that will feed into an internal review. So that's been the kind of the outreach on how we're going to do this. Once the county executive's budget is released and he lays out his plan for the Office of Grant Management administratively, how it would be structured, I expect we'll be doing more outreach to the nonprofit community to let them know what the county executive has planned for this office and what types of initiatives it'll be leading. And then of course that'll feed into the council hearing process and your final approval of it or changes to it.
Sure. Thank you for that thorough response. One thing that you said piqued my interest in that traditionally organizations had applied every year and would have an interview, right, or consultation of sort, having sat in as an applicant for those. But now, because of this process, it's changed a little bit. And you had said that there were some organizations that couldn't hit their work goals, right, their contract obligations because of COVID, which totally makes sense, and that you're working with them. I'm curious, without identifying any organizations, how have in total our nonprofits been in respect to the work that they're contracted to do here in the community, recognizing that it has changed severely over the last 2 years. And so in these consultations to re-up or continue their contracts, are all of them on good footing, or any of them on notice for other external reasons?
I'd say 99% or more are in good shape. What we've tried to do, again, if it's COVID related, say, the non-competitive list, which is all community grants are within the non-competitive contract list, it's very your purpose is your purpose, and that is the only thing you can do with that money. So what council gave the authority to the chief administrative officer to do is, if something was COVID pandemic related, we could change that without actually going through the non-competitive process. So we've been using that to give flexibility to some partners. So again, if a program is impossible to do because of COVID or during COVID because of safety considerations, say in-person meetings in classrooms, and it says in person in the non-competitive contract list, we've used that authority to, change the purpose quickly so that they can do virtual classrooms and virtual meetings, things like that. So again, it's if they can come up with an idea to use the funds that's actually going to be needed and kind of hitting the same general target, but they have to do it in a different way. We've been giving them that flexibility between fiscal years. We've been tweaking some of the purposes. Of course, council approves that. But again, if they have ideas and they have a way to make an impact that's going to be different than what was approved pre-COVID, then we've been giving them that flexibility to kind of working through the paperwork and changing the contracts so that they can actually implement the programs. They can actually use that money to have an impact, because as you've all noted, the need has just skyrocketed. So if money has been appropriated and it's been it's been appropriated for a purpose that just is too rigid in the current environment, we've worked to, and you've given us some authority to be more flexible to let them have an impact. But I think the other ones, what we're talking is really more kind of legal compliance and less about performance target hitting. So, but the others, again, if there's an issue, we work with them. We try to work with the departments who oversee these contracts to give them the flexibility to have an impact, even if reaching that impact is going to be different than what the money was originally approved for in the non-competitive contract list.
Among the many lessons that we've learned during the pandemic, one of them is to be flexible and nimble in our contracts and to be able to provide our non-for-profit organizations the ability to do the work that we need them to do. And so I agree with everything you said, and I know my colleagues do, and we'll continue this evolution through this department, through this new hire in FY23. And in the meantime, we just need to continue holding hands with our organizations during this transition, knowing that there's some additional anxiety, but I know we'll get through this, and appreciate the roadmap you've all laid out ahead. And so thank you very much. I yield back, Mr. Chair.
Well, thank you very much, Vice President Glass, and yet again, another perfect segue, because I know that Councilmember Duwando has certainly been working with our faith institutions when it came to food and food insecurity, as well as positive youth development, and seeing the pivots there. And that flexibility is certainly appreciated for those organizations who may have been focused on other kinds of things, but quickly had to make sure they were meeting the needs of our community. And so I turn it over to Councilmember Duwando.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to all of the work. This is tough. It's tough to do a transition in a period of transition. So it's add transition upon transition. So we've all had to be nimble, and I agree with my colleagues' comments. And one of the best things about Montgomery County, as we all know, is our great nonprofit providers and community. It's unlike any other place where we wouldn't be able to do what we do for our residents without you. And that always needs to be recognized and said and lifted up and reflected in our budgeting and in how we work with you. And this council has continued to be strong on that, and we will. I do have a question related to kind of where we were just going. And I appreciate Vice President Glass, asking this. We've all been, I think, getting some of these like, hey, what's going on? What do I do? Or where do I go? And people are antsy. Could you just talk about the process and what you're doing for, say you are one of these nimble organizations, or one of the many that, prior to the pandemic, wasn't doing this work, or has picked it up and now wants to get in and is contributing, and maybe you have or have not gotten some funding from the county or other resources, and so you're kind of a new first time. You're not a legacy contract or grant recipient, rather. What's been the outreach in the process for them, and could you just talk about that as well, please?
So again, for FY23, this was a difficult trade-off in terms of keeping funding levels frozen for existing community grants NDA funded programs versus opening it up or reorganizing things. It didn't leave a lot of flexibility for new programs. But again, under consideration for FY23 is, potentially given the Office of Grants Management some additional resources for them to lead new initiatives. So what I've been messaging to these nonprofits, and we have heard from a lot of them, and I've talked with many of them, is this office will be stood up. They are going to be, taking over these processes. They're going to be implementing a lot of reforms that, everyone agrees are necessary and good, and just show some patience until this office is created. And then we can work with them and see what programming is going to be available. In terms of other,
so basically, just not to cut you off. So not this year, next year. Can I potentially? This is what I just want to be very clear to people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there may be opportunities within FY23 for additional programming. One thing I want to also note, one statistic that I think is interesting and useful context is the community grants NDA is about 9.7 million, or it was an FY22 approved budget. That and the total non-competitive contract list, which is 99% nonprofit, is about 112 million. Mm-hmm. So the vast majority of the nonprofit funding that the county gives doesn't flow through the community grants NDA. Right. 90+% of it flows through departmental budgets, HHS, Department of Recreation. So and as you've been passing supplemental or special appropriations, none of that money has flowed through the community grants NDA. All of that has flowed through departmental budgets. So there has been a significant growth and increase, targeting some of these key areas, targeting some of these key needs, but it hasn't flowed through the community grants process. It's flowed directly through the departments. So that's the other avenue, is if they are doing important work for the community that is underserved, departments might be the ones who have the resources for additional programming, even if we're keeping the community grants NDA levels frozen. And so during the pandemic, that's how you've chosen to appropriate resources, which makes sense because it's more strategic. The community grants NDA is just an open pool of funding for anything. It's not necessarily a good way if there is a mental health need, if there is a food security need, it's not necessarily the best way to target that. It's, as you've done, it's going directly through the departments that are in the lead on those efforts is the best way to get money to those nonprofits that focus on that.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that. That was to Councilman Rice's point, segues. That was going to be kind of my next thing. I think you have a lot of people, they hear community grants and they know how it operated in the past. And so they may think they need to come to you, but you're right. We have funded a lot of new organizations and programs through these targeted initiatives to respond to the needs in the community. I do think there is we should think about more with the agencies and with your office, how we can make sure that referral process is easy and connected, and we know who's doing what, who's started to do what over the last 2 years, and how that's going to continue. The hubs are a good example. The African American Health programs that do subcontract and are using nonprofits to do the work. I think there's something more we can do to build out that network, because at the end of the day, it's all us helping our community meet its needs. And whether it's from the grants office or whether it's through a DHHS contract or some other agency recreation contract, I think that, and it sounds like you're doing that, but maybe there's a way we can formalize and, kind of direct people a little more in a more targeted way. If you're X nonprofit that wants to provide X need, maybe, and they come to you, you can say, well, this is happening over here, or you can kind of feed them in, or even do a warm handoff. And maybe that's happening, but I see that that's going to be an issue, I think, for the next couple of years as we make this transition.
I agree. And I think that's going to be a key role of the Office of Grants Management. And I think that has been part of the issue and kind of the wisdom of council's action in setting this office up is it's just raw capacity and having the time and space and staff dedicated to leading those efforts. So that would be a key role of the Office of Grants Management is having that kind of hub-like role. And that's something it's been difficult for OMB to manage since, we are spread across the entire county. And for me, this is a fraction of my portfolio, and it's
Right.
just a capacity issue.
You're doing
So-
other things, yeah.
But and I would love to work more with the nonprofit community, but it is, but I think that is the wisdom of this office, is setting it up and having the capacity to really be leading and championing these efforts and doing more coordination across the county government. So, but I completely agree with you, and I think that's going to be a key role for this office.
Great. All right. And so Ms. Chen and Mr. Chair, as we navigate through this budget process, I think that's something, we're going to have to figure out who are between us, or who are the arms and legs to help that happen. I know it's happening, but I think I just want to point it out. And I know we all know that's an issue. So appreciate this. We're heading in the right direction, and appreciate the time for the questions, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you very much, Councilmember Juando, and you're actually put on the list. And I saw Ms. Chen writing feverishly, so I know that those are in our notes in terms of exactly what it is that we need to do for next steps. And so I really want to thank all of my colleagues for their thoughtful analysis, as well as suggestions about how it is that we move forward. Again, I want to thank you, Mr. Murphy, for your continued collaboration with Ms. Chen and with our nonprofit community. And I really want to thank our nonprofit community in closing for everything that they've done. Again, government continues to do many things to help our community, but nonprofit, we know, fills so many of the gaps and make sure that they're on the ground giving a firsthand view. And you heard it from Council President Albornoz about what is going on and then meeting that need. And so we say thank you to each and every one of you. So with that, I think that we're good to go. And I want to turn it over to you, Mr. President, for the second part of our joint meeting.
Thank you so much, Chairman Rice. And we have two items that we will be formally making recommendations on before the full council, but then talk about the high school wellness centers as well, just in terms of a general discussion, because as I noted earlier, council is very interested and has publicly stated that we would like to see an expansion of the high school wellness program, and we know our colleagues and friends in the executive branch agree with those recommendations. But joining us today are colleagues from our Department of General Services. I want to welcome Mr. David Dice and Mr. Greg Assant. We also have representatives from the Department of Health and Human Services here as well, Luis Cardona and Monica Martin. And the two items we will be able to make recommendations on are fairly straightforward, but critically important work. I also want to welcome Dira, Ms. Severino, Ms. Treadvance. I keep doing that, Ms. Treadvance. So thank you so much for joining us again today. You've really hit the ground running clearly. And we also have representatives from ONB here as well. As I stated earlier, I have to go off camera at 10:30. I think we may be able to get through the voting portion of this prior to that, and we'll see how long the High School Wellness Center conversation takes us. But Ms. Yao, I turn it over to you to tee up the two items we will be formally making recommendations on now, and then I will be calling for a motion among colleagues to be able to move those forward to full council. But Ms. Yao, I turn it over to you.
Great. The Joint Committee is going to be reviewing DHHS CIP umbrella projects that support health and human service related programs integrated within county buildings and schools. So the executive has recommended two ongoing projects in the fiscal year 23 to 28 capital improvements program. One is childcare renovations, and the second is the school-based health and linkages to learning centers projects. The Joint Committee will also have the opportunity to discuss high school wellness centers and childcare in schools projects that were not recommended for any funding during the 6-year period. So for childcare renovations, the PDF is attached to your packet at circles 1 to 2. The executive is recommending $49,923 for the project and a 6-year total of $40,732. The recommended funding source is $49.067 million in GEO bonds, $594,000 in PAYGO, and $262,000 in recordation tax premiums. The requested 23 appropriation is $2.185 million, and the estimated fiscal year 24 appropriation is $7.418 million. This project provides for the renovation of childcare facilities in 22 county buildings to remedy ADA non-compliant features, provide for design and construction of ADA compliant playgrounds, and also provides for the replacement of modular facilities where needed. A list of 36 projects at 22 sites is attached at Circle 3 of your packet. And the table on page 2 of your packet shows the projects that will be scheduled for work in fiscal year 23 and or fiscal year 24. The specific details of what's going to be completed at each site are not known at this time. DGS reports that it's in the process of finalizing, procuring the design build contractors for the 3 different categories of work: playground, ADA remediation, and facility replacement. And council staff just wants to, observe that the information about the scope of work and the cost for each project will not be available until the design process has begun. The project description form indicates that there's a cost increase of about $21.9 million from the approved 21 to 25 CIP project, and understands that this increase is due to updated cost estimates based on escalation and inflation increases, as well as the addition of fiscal year 27 and 28 expenditures. And the umbrella project supports the ongoing efforts to expand early care and education options in the county. DHHS is in the process of performing a child care supply and demand study in the county, and this information will inform how we build out the modular components and room configurations, depending on where we find that there's needs for childcare that will then, and specific ages that will inform, that planning and construction process. So council staff recommends approving the expenditure schedule and appropriations as recommended by the executive, subject to availability of funds at reconciliation.
Thank you, Ms. Yao. That was a very good overview. Just connecting a dot, this council is poised in the very near future to advance the Early Childhood and Education Coordinating Entity. So the timing is great because the recommendations of this body will help inform this newly formed group as we develop this broader ecosystem of early childhood and education opportunities across the entire community. I don't see any questions from my colleagues on this particular staff recommendation. So if I can get a motion to move that recommendation forward.
So moved, Mr. President.
Seconded by Councilmember Navarro. Without objection, I believe we will go ahead and accept that staff recommendation. Ms. Yao, if you could keep going.
Sure. The second project recommended by the executive is the school-based health and linkages to learning centers project. For fiscal year 23, the county executive is recommending $2.974 million over the 6-year period to construct linkages to learning projects at Odessa Shannon Middle School, Silver Spring International Middle School, Gaithersburg Elementary School number 8, and Neelsville Middle School, and 2 school-based health centers at South Lake and Joanne Leelick Elementary Schools. The Joanne Leelick project is new to the fiscal year 23 to 28 CIP. And the first table on page 4 of your packet shows the expenditures anticipated during the 6-year period, as well as the project totals. The recommended funding source for the 6-year period is GO bonds. The requested 23 appropriation is $659,000, and the estimated fiscal year 24 appropriation is $1.095 million. The second table on page 4 of your packet provides the completion dates that are anticipated or at least described in the PDF. And council staff just wanted to note that while the PDF reflects that the project Silver Spring International Middle School project will be completed in fiscal year 24, I believe the expenditure schedule shows that there will be expenditures in fiscal year 25. So the Joint Committee may want to seek clarification on that item.
Mr. Deitch, Mr. Hassan, if you could speak to that.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
No worries. Yes, no, that was his error. So the That facility actually will be open in the year 2024, but finished in fiscal year 25. So there's that just a little confusion. So we can definitely update the PDF to reflect that FY25 is the completion date for that one.
Great. Like
Great.
it when they're easy to fix.
And the last thing that council staff just wanted to raise for the committee's consideration is that the linkages to learning strategic plan, which was from fiscal year 15 to fiscal year 20, was ended 2 years ago, and certainly there were limited implementation of the recommendations in that plan because of fiscal constraints and other competing budget priorities during that time period. But we haven't seen a new strategic plan, though I guess DHHS reports that the leadership is considering, I guess, a final draft of the strategic plan, and it will be updated and confirmed by the bi-agency planning group in the next couple of months. Because, the expansion of mental health services for our students has been something that the council has discussed. The Joint Committee may want to request that the department and bi-agency planning group complete their review and finalize the strategic plan recommendations before the Joint Committee begins its fiscal year 23 operating budget review. And then council recommends approval of the PDF with updates as we discussed.
Thank you so much, Ms. Yao. Ms. Martin or Ms. Treadvance, do you want to speak to the issue of the strategic plan?
So what I can share is that I look forward to briefing my brand new chief on that drafted strategic plan as soon as possible. We've had the opportunity, as she has dived into the position, to have one one-on-one meeting. We have another one scheduled tomorrow. So it should be on track after that.
That sounds great. Ms. Navarro, Councilmember Navarro, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you for describing all of this. I just wanted to add that I think in a way it is such a auspicious moment to take a look at that strategic plan. Obviously, strategic plans are all about understanding and capturing the moment, but also being forward thinking. And we've learned just so much during this pandemic in terms of how we can leverage, how we can realign, et cetera. So I think that, even if there's a little bit of kind of stepping back, I think it would be worth doing that so that we can best maximize the impact and the utilization of this amazing program. So just wanted to register that because it seems to me like in all policy areas, we could really benefit from taking a fresh look at everything given the situation on the ground these days. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you, Councilmember Navarro. All right, so we look forward to seeing that strategic plan, and we'll probably need a joint session to discuss it once it's ready to roll. But in the meantime, we have a recommendation from council staff on the CIP. Could I get a motion to move that forward?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Jawando, seconded by Councilmember Navarro. Without objection, then we will accept that staff recommendation for the second project in the CIP, which takes us to the last item, which is a discussion Mr. Dice. Yes. Oh, you're just raising your hand. All right. Great.
Just thanking the committee. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. You make it easy for us, Mr. Dice. The Department of General Services has been doing some really great work for quite a while now. We really appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
So the Wellness Center issue is obviously a significant one. And while there obviously is not a recommendation in this CIP, as I noted at the beginning, this council is very much on record, and the county executive has acknowledged his general support for an expansion of our high school wellness programs. And so there will need to be work done clearly, both on the operating side, but the capital side. I want to yield now to Councilmember Navarro to make some comments about this. Councilmember Navarro.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I want to thank all my colleagues as well, because everyone has always recognized the importance and the value of this particular component in our schools. As I have said previously, I know that when this was first proposed under the Leggett administration, we were also excited because we had been working through our HHS committee and our education committee for years on making sure that we would expand opportunities that were holistic, that had multi-agency, services, partnerships, et cetera. But more than anything, this notion of a no wrong door and sort of like a one-stop. And so, there's a lot of history in the county, starting with, for example, the Kennedy Cluster Project and how that was supposed to be a template, right, to then expand throughout the county. It was based loosely on the Children's Harlem Zone. And the whole idea was for us to study best practices and what interventions really helped us move the needle on so many challenges so that we can use that every time we would then consider a budget, right? So that way we're not just sort of reacting and proposing initiatives, but we are expanding and scaling up initiatives that have yield results. And so the Wellness Center was one of those ideas. And I think it was so awesome to be able to see the difference that it has made in the Wheaton High School, county, et cetera. And no doubt that every year, of course, we are facing challenges. So I am totally cognizant of the fact that just with, as we have done with Linkage to Learning, we have, been able to expand, not at the rate we would want to. And it's been the same conversation with the Wellness Center. But I think that we have now literally been pushed to a point where we need to be very, I think, aggressive and realistic about the conditions that our young people and our families are facing. And I know I've been on record from the very beginning of this pandemic saying that we probably don't have yet a clear picture of how hard this has hit so many families and so many young people, because, a lot of them are not necessarily the ones that come to testify. And even when we go out into the communities, many folks are not necessarily willing to share, but, we know that things have reached a very critical point. And so to me, as I reflected on, what are some of the options that we have in front of us? What are some of the opportunities that we have in front of us? All of us here on the County Council, and including the executive, as it was mentioned, has always looked at this model of the Wellness Center. I think it's a win-win because it absolutely can provide support for any student. I am convinced that this is not an issue anymore of like, this school could really use one. This one doesn't really need one. I really don't. I think that this pandemic has come to impact all students, regardless of your socioeconomic background, regardless of your ethnicity, regardless of your racial or your sexual orientation. It just has come to upend everything as we know it. And I think it behooves us to figure out, what is the best mechanism to provide a holistic support for our students, to provide, for example, an opportunity for maybe like a street outreach network, a person that students can connect with. Like that is the whole point of street outreach network, but it's external. And if we could then think through, and we have to think creatively, that maybe it's time to also make it internal so that they are there as a trusted peer, that's an adult, that our young people can feel comfortable reaching out to, engaging, looking up to, et cetera. That is the model externally. And so I believe that this is a very critical turning point for us. And like I've said before, let's not let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Like I'm realistic, I know. It's not like, oh, overnight we're gonna be able to build this, huge, beautiful expansions to each school, and then we're going to staff it. I understand that. I've been here long enough now. But my thing is, I think we need to come together creatively with, in our minds, keeping in our minds the stress, the trauma, the anxiety that is out there collectively. And it is our responsibility then to say, okay, so you know what? Let's find a way forward. Would it be portables that we would have to stand up for now? Maybe we do that. You know, would it be a complement of staff from the Street Outreach Network in partnership with some of our amazing organizations in partnership with the schools, et cetera? Maybe we do that. But I think it's time to just, as I said, just rip off the Band-Aid, and we just need to do it. And it's, you know, yeah, it's a big number, but I think in the long run, we will save money. We will save lives. We will have put in place an intervention, again, that reflects the values that we have talked about and implemented throughout the years. Holistic, culturally appropriate, can serve everyone. It's centralized, and it follows the concept of community schools that we also have talked about so many times. So I appreciate this initial conversation, except that, again, I know we're already working on the proposal, and I hope that we can come together just like we did during the pandemic when we launched, these, the Latino Health Initiative specific for COVID and the African American Program Initiative specifically for COVID, et cetera. This time is about our young people and the families and the school environment. And I know that we have the talent and the know-how to come together quickly and put something, together and then fund it and just get to work. I know that I would feel so much better knowing that we did put forth that capacity in our schools. And I'm sure our parents would also feel much better knowing that they don't have to go track down all these supports, but that they are there and they can turn to them if they need them as well. So with that, I thank everyone, and I look forward to the collaboration with all my colleagues. This is not about, I take credit, you take credit, or whatever. All of us have said that this is an important tool, an important asset. And so all of us can hold hands and make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Nora. That was extraordinarily well said. And I, once again, associate myself with all of those comments. I'm just going to make one quick comment before turning it over to Chairman Friess, and he's going to take us home because I, again, have to attend the funeral. But I'll just say a couple of things. As I said before, I've always been immensely impressed with the creativity of our Department of General Services, and we're going to need them to be creative here. Because as Councilmember Navarro noted, there is work already underway on the development of a proposal, which we're going to have to turn to our executive branch colleagues to help execute. And knowing there are not easy solutions in finding space within our high school campuses now, which is extraordinarily challenging. But I think all of us have been deeply and emotionally impacted by what we're seeing our kids go through right now. And there is no higher priority. And so, yes, the number will be big. And we all know that. We have our eyes wide open. But anything short of that would be just, we can't go down that road. It's too important and things are too critical, especially now. So I'll yield to you, Mr. Dice. I see you want to make some comments, and then Chairman Rice, you're going to take us home here and make some comments in the end. But I really appreciate this conversation. I will be tuning in and listening. Councilmember Jawanda wants to get in the queue as well, Councilmember Rice. But thank you all so much, and I'll keep listening from my phone. But this has been a great session, and I look forward to the ongoing discussion. I'm tuning out, but I know everybody's tuning in. Thanks.
Mr. Dice.
Yeah, thank you. I actually just wanted to support what Council President Albornoz was saying regarding our commitments to apply creative energy. This really is, as we often find ourselves leading sort of a internal task force. This is a joint effort with us and HHS and MCPS as well. And I don't doubt the cost. I'm glad to hear the council acknowledge that. Even on the improvements to the child care centers, the expenses that we run into are often beyond what we originally anticipate. But certainly we stand ready and are willing to work with joint effort with council initiatives, schools, and the executive branch. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Dice. Let me turn to Councilmember Jawando, and then I'll have a couple comments as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the discussion and the lead-in by Councilman Navarro, and this is certainly something that is so important, especially right now. And I checked my participants list to make sure Monica Martin was still here, because she knows, and it's okay if you're off screen, no need to, oh, there you go, you came back, okay, good to see you. She knows I've been a broken record on this one for a couple of years, and Ms. Treadvance, I know all the work. I think this is an auspicious moment. I think Councilmember Navarro said this, because the work you all have been doing with the previous conversation on the strategic planning, where we've been put, and our children and our families have been put with this pandemic, the investments this council has made, how we've restructured our government in a period of 2 years with the hubs and the initiatives and all the things, we are at the exact right moment to make this, all things happen when they're supposed to happen. I think this is the time. I was looking back at an old email from Seth Adams where, because MCPS pays the cost part for the high school wellness centers, and he was estimating, it's $1 million for this and this and that. But now we're at a moment where we all got to come together, and I really appreciate Ms. Yao making this point in the packet, and others have made this, that it's not going to look the same everywhere, and that's fine. But all of our children and families need some suite of these services. Some more intensive, some are going to need more physical space. Some can be partnerships with nonprofits and can be directing people to places. I just think we have to make sure that we commit to do this, and we have all the right people here to do it. And so I'm really excited about it. I think it will have a lasting and really big impact. And you've heard from all of us the commitment to making sure we fund this for our kids. We're experiencing it personally, we're experiencing it professionally. We see it, we hear it from our residents and the folks that we get to represent. And so I am really excited, and just want to add my thanks to all of you in urgency to come to us with something that doesn't have to be perfect, but let's get it started so that we can make these investments in this budget cycle and really start ramping up the services for our kids in partnership with MCPS and all of the entities that are going to need to make this happen. So just wanted to add that, and I appreciate all the work that has been done and will be done, and looking forward to getting this done together. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Jawando. It's interesting that it's been about 12 years, I guess, since our first high school wellness center opened at Northwood High School. Councilmember Navarro was already on the council. I joined the council later on that year. And since then, we've been staunch advocates. I remember, and I was saying this the other day, back in 2013, when we had a meeting with then led by Council Member Valerie Irvin, who was chair of the Education Committee, and talking about the expansion of wellness centers and how we needed to do this at every school. That was the conversation back then, and it still is what it is today. The reality is that all of our kids need help, regardless of the socioeconomic status, as you heard from Councilmember Navarro, or where they come from, regardless of who they look like, who they love. We know that so many things are affecting so many of our students every single day. And so we need to provide them the support that's necessary. And it's very interesting because under the leadership of Councilmember Navarro, she suggested that I go to my home high school, which was Kennedy, and see the Kennedy cluster model and it at work. And I still remember that interaction because I had to ask special permission of both the student and the parent that were there. And I got to see firsthand about that collaboration. And what it was that sat at that table was an officer, a social worker, a person, obviously from the school, guidance counselors. We had folks who were with the Kennedy Cluster Project from staffing, as well as some folks from DHHS, all around the table, giving supports. And I'll never forget the conversation because I was allowed, as long as I never said who the student's name was, what I could say. This was a young girl who had actually had a baby. So she needed food stamps. They gave her immediate grocery store cards. She was having issues because kids were making fun of her at school. And I'll never forget that the officer was saying, look, we'll make sure that we try and make a meeting between you and those other girls so that we can try and get rid of some of the issues that are there and some of the drama. But I can assure you, you don't have to worry about your safety or anything like that. There are a whole bunch of things that were done about mental health and making sure that she had the supports because it was stressful being a teen mom. And she was getting bullied because of that as well. And so, all of those things, because back then, and this is years ago, it was a very different time frame being a teen mom, and it wasn't as much of what people see as they saw back then. Those are the kinds of things that, again, are the simplistic parts of what a wellness center can deliver. We know that there are so many more complicated issues that are at play with our kids now. And so that was just the base, right? That was the standard. If we look at that now, we'd say to ourselves, oh, yeah, that happens in pretty much every single school across this county. Pretty much every single school across this nation from that standpoint. But we have very complex issues. And so if we don't address them, we run the risk of having a student who doesn't have access to those resources, and negative things can befall them. It truly is something where, and I didn't want to get into this conversation, but I do think that this new model that we're looking at for how we're doing wraparound services for our kids at our schools involves a teen triage. And that teen triage is what needs to be housed within this wellness center. And my good friend, Luis Cardona, who I've known for umpteen years as well, knows all too well that that's what our kids need. He's told me this for a very long time, and he's doing the work on the ground. He sees it every single day in terms of what it is that our kids and our parents and our community are asking for. And we've heard it from many of our advocates, the folks that are in our western part of the county with fair access have advocated consistently for making sure that we have some sort of wellness center as a part of Poolesville High School. They didn't just want a high school. They didn't just want a gymnasium. They also wanted to make sure that a health component was there, so much so that they actually wanted to have a doctor's office and formalized healthcare as a part of what it is that goes on there at Poolesville High School. This is a no-brainer, folks. This is something where, just as linkages to learning, we've realized the great benefits of having this at the schools we've seen it at, and we know the benefit it can have for all of our kids. And I'll just close with saying this. We do understand that we are going to have to approach this in a way in which fiduciarily, and I know that Chair of GO knows this all too well, we may not get to build the exact same model right away at every single one of our high schools, but we do need to have the dedicated program and dedicated space. And what that may look like may be a little bit different, just like with linkages at many of our sites as we continue to ramp up the program. But we can do something that actually ensures that those services are provided and available, and those resources are there for all of our kids. And so I really want to thank Councilmember Navarro for her leadership and for her partnership over this course of 12 years. For her, technically it's 13. But in truly continuing to advocate for that connectivity to our community and our commitment to supporting our children. And I want to thank each and every one of my colleagues for continuing to do that as well. As you heard from Chair President Albornoz, all of us are on board with saying this is important to us and we need to make this happen. We're going to have to crunch some numbers. And that leads me to Ms. Beck, as well as Ms. Karamias and Mr. Adams, who have always been stalwarts in terms of figuring the tough stuff out, working in conjunction with folks like Ms. Yao, Mr. Dice, Mr. Hodge, Mr. Assant, and others, who all just come together to figure it out and make it happen. You guys are awesome. And so what we're asking you for, once again, let's figure out a way to make it happen, because we know how important it is to our kids and how more important it is to our community and to our overall society as a whole. So with that, I really want to thank you guys. I think this has been a great, fantastic meeting. I think that we have a lot to work on, but we've also accomplished a lot today in terms of getting some things moving. So with that, I think we are adjourned. Thank you very much, guys. Take care and stay safe. Have a good one.